thing. We're going to only have 30 seconds.
Are you an online educator struggling to find your audience? Quasar Markets connects you with learners looking for you. Keep 100% ownership of your courses. No hidden fees. Already have monetized content? Get paid again and again. Apply today. Take control of your educational empire. Quasar Markets, where educators build their legacy.
You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today, your edge when investing.
Welcome back, Quasar Markets Live. It's Friday, and man, I don't know about you, but I think I'm ready for the weekend, Big Beat. What a beatdown yesterday. Biggest intraday turn in a long time. Yesterday was hopium to nopium in real time is what I called it. We started the day like it was AI Christmas. NVIDIA crushes earnings, futures rip. Dow was up more than 700 points as we were getting to leave. And by the close, it looked like Santa slipped on a banana peel, fell down the chimney, and set the tree on fire. It's now shaping up to be the worst week for stocks since early April. All the favorites are unwinding. Bitcoin is in full don't open up your portfolio app today. And even the usual safety trades, treasuries and golds, are acting like they got margin called. Steve, what's going on out there? Is this all Fed?
It is. Look, it's dumb money. It's dumb money being dumb about their dumb money, being dumb about their dumb money. It is what it is. People are scared. They're selling. They don't know what to do. I heard from another I won't call him out, but I heard from another financial. They're calling it a financial firm, but they just said to themselves, "We don't know what to do." Okay, the Fed says we don't know what to do. The other, let's say, dumb money firms, I don't know what to do. Or I'm not going to get back in until my charts tell me so. Your charts aren't telling you anything. Stop pearl clutching your charts. You know what? I took Bailey for a walk this morning, and I had to think about what I wanted to say this morning. And I always take about 10 to 20 minutes in my head about what I always want to say to people. And let me tell you what I want to say to people right now. This market and every market is based on one thing and one thing only. Common sense. Okay, let me say this again. Common sense will take you a long way in these markets. What do I mean by that? How do I know what common sense is? How do I understand what common sense is in this market? Well, it's very simple. Does the market feel a month or 2 months ago like it was overbought? A lot of people it didn't, Howard. A lot of people, they felt like, oh, well, no, I'm going to keep buying dips and the market's going to go up forever. Well, that didn't make sense to me. And that, to me, that common sense. Now we have puts on the SPX, SPOOs, at the highest level since COVID. That's not smart either. That's not common sense either. So
my one question for you on that, Steve, and I'm going to give you the floor again, is that hedging against big long positions like you're saying? Because I'll tell you on the crypto side, Tom Lee basically laid it all out that that's a big push that's pushing down price.
Yeah, but that's only one asset class, right? And I understand that, and I get that this asset class leads some of the other asset classes in AI and stuff like that. I get it, but we're oversold, and I am banging the table, Howard Greenberg. You heard me. That's right. I'm banging the table. I haven't banged the table in, I don't know, months now. It is now time to buy. This is stupid. We're seeing the Fed literally again saying, I don't understand. Well, the narrative has changed. We just saw one saying, well, Fed's slogan was economic uncertainty and the design and conduct of monetary policy. 3, 4 now. 4 members of the Fed says, I don't understand the markets. Resign.
Yeah, I did. The one thing that I will bring out from my side as being a little bit more pragmatic right now still is that, what I warn is, because Steve trades differently than most retail traders, is it's tough to hold stuff right now when the next Fed speak, whether they say we're gonna cut or not cut, is deciding market moves of 2 to 5%.
And if you are basing your world off of what the Fed has to say, and you're basing your investments,
not, but that is what the market is doing.
No, I'm saying.
We saw it this morning without a doubt. We saw it yesterday without a doubt.
Right. And if as my friend JC Perez says, I don't know what I had for breakfast. How the hell am I going to know what the Fed has to say, right? If you're basing your investments around what the Fed, and look, I get it. You're going to tell me the old adage, don't fight the Fed. Ooh, boogeyman. I get it. Guess what? That's been around longer than you've been around, and you probably don't even understand what "don't fight the Fed" means, right? When I hear people say, "Oh, the trend is your friend," until it isn't. Well, it isn't, right? It's not about your trend. It's not about what things are happening. It's about common sense. Go back to basics. Understand what the market is telling you. The market is not telling you that the world is falling apart. It's not Chicken Little, but right now you think that Chicken Little is happening because why? Because zero DTEs and puts spreads are at the highest level on the SPX since COVID, and probably even now closing in on before that. Guess what? They got to close those options. Okay. You can say that they're hedging. You can say all kinds of things. You can try to rationalize it in your head. There's no rationalizing this. Okay. The markets are selling off because people are scared. That's why, period. Simple as it gets, right? At the height of it a month ago, people were excited because people were just excited. That's just what the market was doing. It wasn't about your charts. There were no charts telling you, hey, the market's going to go higher, because if the markets are making all-time highs, there were no charts to tell you that market's going higher. All right, so let's get back to the basics. Let's understand where we are now. And I said this on the show yesterday. All right, that's the past. How do we plan for the future? All right. I'm telling you right now, I just banged the table. It's time to buy. This is nuts, right? This selling is nuts. AI is definitely a product that's going to be, there's a reason why everybody is buying and paying for AI and paying up for it, because it's a real thing. It's going to really affect your life. This is different than .com in so many different ways. But I know people are trying to put, and I'm the same way. I'm trying to make allusions, let's put it this way, to other things in the past, not illusions, allusions, and trying to explain how to understand this market. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking to be the what? The ticker taker. As people are clamoring for the doors, be the person at the door buying their shares. When the market was pushing all the way up, I was selling my NVIDIA shares at 220 to people who were thinking that the market was going to go to 5,000. Right? Now the market is sold off and it's still selling off, and you've got other firms going, "Oh, we don't know what to do." Well, stop telling me what to do then. Get off the air. Turn your phone off. I don't know what to tell you. Stop talking. Right? If you don't know what you're talking about, you're a Fed governor, and you literally say, "I don't know what I'm talking about," then shut up. Right? You don't need to be on TV until you understand what's really happening. You don't understand the bond market? My God, we had a Fed governor this morning say, "I don't understand the bond market." You don't need to be a Fed governor. You need to be going back to school. I don't know what to tell you. Right?
Well, do you think he wasn't? I mean, I took that more as, what I just put up on the screen, that everything's going down while they're saying they're not going to cut, and it's more about they don't understand.
They don't have a choice, Howard. I've said this many times.
Yeah, I mean, I hope. I don't know. Because we just had another Fred Logan just came out and said it's hard to support it.
Right. Hard to support. Yeah, hard to support when you don't know what the data is. Right. I get it. Okay, I'm happy to give you Quasar markets, but let's get real down to brass tacks, right? It's when the narrative changes, and that's what I'm saying right now, right? The narrative was, let's cut rates so that we can push the markets up, because that gives more fuel to the fire to push the market up. When that's why you do that. The other reason you cut rates is because the world's not so good. And when that narrative flips, that's what people are wondering about. They're wondering. They don't know. They don't understand. The Fed doesn't even know what's going on. They're telling you that the economy is good. Go talk to Target. Go talk to Walmart. Go talk to McDonald's. They all told you. The CEOs
Walmart
told
said
you
it was good. Everybody but Walmart
said we're okay. They didn't say we're great. They said we're okay. They said, well, the world's not burning down. And I agree with them. The world's not burning down. People are looking for deals. But the K economy is in pure freaking swing. So yes, Howard, I agree with this. Risk off everywhere. You're absolutely right. Yields down, gold down, oil down. It's off my screen. I got to redo my screen. That tells you everything. And that's why the Fed has to figure it out, right? And figure it out fast. Now, if the Fed does an intermediate cut, we're in trouble. I don't think it's going to happen because too many Fed members are saying, well, we don't know what to do. All right. Well, you're now basing
they're not going to get together before December 10th,
right?
Because it's
they might. They don't say that. They might. They all talk amongst each other. Trust me, I know that's a fact. But I will say this much. Here, listen. I want everybody to understand this. Okay, I want everybody to understand this. And I've been doing this for 35 years. This is nothing new. This market is nothing new to me. And you have to understand how the market, the plate tectonics of this thing is moving. Steve Flanagan told you it's quantum convergence. There's a flip over. We call it in Florida August. It usually happens in August, called dog days. It's when the nastiness of the water comes up because the water is flipping upside down. It's all the crap on the bottom comes up, floats to the top. You don't want to be in the water in August. Well, guess what? This is the dog days of the markets. Okay. This is when the markets are flipping up a little bit and they're not right, and they will settle back down, and you're going to be wrong. And you're going to be like, why didn't BigBeat and Howard tell me? Well, we are telling you. I banged the desk earlier, right? I don't bang the desk very rarely. I bang the desk when telling you to sell the NVIDIA. I'm banging the desk now to tell you it's time okay to get back in the water because these people are overselling. It's running around. I feel like I should go put on an army helmet because people are just saying stupid. I don't know. I'm also cussing on this. I don't like cussing on here, but it's true. This market is nutty. And in the zero DTEs, we should ban them immediately because it's what's causing a lot of this problems. And we're seeing it.
Yeah,
and guess what? I'm going to take advantage of dumb money.
Perps with it. You know,
exactly.
Steve, I've got to ask though. I mean, I get what you're saying about prices, but you've been the one beating the table that the economy's terrible. You just did. The K economy's terrible. This is terrible. That's terrible. And then one of the things that all three of us have been bullish about,
terrible.
It's not this terrible. Though, is we got to start talking about Japan.
Yes.
So I've seen my first article comparing their new PM to Liz Truss. Japan's new PM wants a big fiscal stimulus. Inflation expectations are getting unanchored. SoftBank's down 10% today. Wait a minute. If we can't rely on Japan as a stable anchor, who else is in play?
Europe. And we need to keep our eye on Europe because Europe's issues are exacerbating. We know this now with Ukraine. I think that there is a play now so that Ukraine can get out of this war. I'm excited about that in so many ways, Howard. There's a lot of issues going on there, and I think that's a place we could turn to. I just had a podcast in Australia ask me to talk to their people because they are confused too of what's going on in the rest of the world because they're isolated, right? But the question here you have to ask is, okay, NVIDIA at 220 was nuts. NVIDIA at 180 is 30% haircut, right? Okay, the world's not that bad. All right, the world was not equating $4 trillion NVIDIA. And I love NVIDIA. I've talked about the Blackwell chipsets for how long? They're sold out.
It's still 4.4 trillion.
Still 4.4 trillion. That's right. That's right.
To go
on. And my point is the same. I think we go back up. And I like this. Look, the Fed can say whatever they want. They're going to cut. And Trapper's asking the right question. And there's a question that I've also been asking. I love this question. Who is doing the selling?
Everybody.
That's
everybody.
right.
They're covering
margin. Everybody is doing it because the dumb money is scaring the real money, and the real money is scaring the dumb money, and they don't know what.
Out of money. So this is, again, I think retail lost. They didn't listen to you for the last 2 months, and now they're forced sellers. They're margin calls.
Margin calls. That's right.
Across the board.
And it's not just margin call because you're on margin. It's because the banks are also pulling money.
The retail that's been buying every dip.
Yes, and the banks are pulling back their margin, Howard. That's what I've been saying. Now the banks are scared. This is when I love to buy. It's when everybody's scared.
Yeah, I don't even use margin, and my brokerage told me that my margin's been reduced. You know what I mean? The amount that I could take, and I don't even use it. So it's it's not so it's not the over leverage part of it. They're, like you said, they're cutting back,
Yeah.
without a doubt, without a doubt. So
You saw Bitcoin go from 94,000 yesterday to 80,000 to 84,000. What the hell is going on? This means people don't know what the hell they're doing, right? Or they're manipulating, right? And either way, because honestly, let's be real clear about this. This is a great time for institutions to manipulate. They have money and the volume is not that high. So great. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy down here. And when we make new highs come January, February, March, November is usually the best month to invest. It's usually right after October. It's usually in history, it tells you that this is one of the best months. And we're not seeing that. So guess what? I'm taking advantage of history. I'm taking advantage of dumb money. I'm going to take advantage of institutions, and I'm going to buy. You see it now. I've slapped the desk. This is the second time that I've done this today. It is time to buy, and I'm buying. That's it. I'm buying.
Okay. Well, what are you buying, Steve? Where are
Tesla.
you going to start? Tesla. Okay.
I bought Tesla yesterday. Guess what else I bought, Howard? I haven't done this since for about a month. I bought Fly with you now. Yeah, I know you took your money. I'm back in Fly.
Okay.
Right? Because these have been beaten up for no reason. Right? There's no reason. Look, Tesla at 500. Okay, yeah. Tesla under 400. It's a buy. And guess what? We're at 401 again already. So this is what I mean. Take advantage of stupidity, common sense. Think between your ears, folks. This is what God gave them to you, right? And I'm not talking about you personally. I'm just saying common sense is not going through the markets. Common sense is not.
I mean, the only thing I'm going to warn is there's a lot of options expiring today. Be careful today.
Guess what? Those options are on. They're on the put side. Those options are on the put side.
No. Retail's long. Retail's long. Look at
retail is not long. And I'm going to tell you, I've been reading the book, Howard, and I'm still doing it. 1929. Got the book Kindle in front of me. I'm still reading it. I'm reading the sections again because I'm like, God damn, this is like 1929.
Well, but then how are you buying if that's the case, Steve? Yeah, I mean, I'm confused by you today.
Okay. So I'll explain to you, right? So in the year of 1925 to 1927, there were many opportunities to purchase, and they did. There was a big run, right? Because that run
100% in the year preceding the
390. The Dow went to 392. Right now we're over. But okay, let's get back to it. So in the year of 1929, the bankers went to the president, the main banker of National City Bank, went to the president. At that time was Hoover, and Hoover ignored him. Okay, Hoover said, "Well, I don't really agree with you. I've got my people." Who does that sound like? I've got my people telling me something else, right?
I'll also mention that a man named Merrill, who they have a very famous company about, lost all his money too. So it wasn't just the
they've all lost. Look, if you haven't lost all your money in the markets a couple times, then you're not really playing. One of my rules, right? If the market doesn't humble you, you're not playing it, right? So let's get to it. All right, 1929 rolls around. By April of that year, then the thing that really changed the market was that people were starting to pull out, and it got exacerbated, right? Because the credit crunch, banks got scared, they pulled their money out. All of a sudden, the banks started to collapse, and then there was a run on it. And in psychology, now we're not going to have the same thing as 1929. I know we have the rules, and the markets can only fall so far, and the callers come on, and then we pause the markets. I mean, trust me, I have been through every rule. I've lived through them, right? I helped write some of them. That's that. Howard, you know that as when I worked in the White House. Okay, but let's get to it. Let's understand what's happening today. What is different now in the market? The difference in the market is the actual manipulation is being done on a much different level, right? But by the time that most people
too, in the old days, you had to call or send a telegram to your broker.
Words out of my mouth, right?
Yeah, I mean,
in the old days, it took 15 minutes to make a phone call. It took all that time. You just took the words out of my mouth. Actually, that's right. He's absolutely Howard's right, right? And by the time you got a quote, It was probably 15
well,
to
not
30
even,
minutes
you
later.
didn't know what it was. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
and keep in mind, this was all the way through the 80s, you
Correct.
know, for
Right.
most
I'm
people.
aware.
You
I'm
know, you
aware.
might have had a
Hey, I
Bloomberg terminal when
remember.
you was Steve.
I remember the days where you pulled the phone off and it said corn on it, or it said oil on it, or it said stocks. You had to pull it off and make the phone calls to
The
floor.
actual tickers. You actually still
Right.
use the ticker tape.
I remember when the box was this big to see the score, to see the ticker, right? So today we don't have that. So what do I mean by that? I mean that the speed of the psychology is so much faster, and the derivatives are so much bigger. That's the problem, right? The thing that hasn't changed throughout all of history is psychology and common sense. It's still the same. When my hairdresser gives me stock quotes and tells me what to buy, when my Uber driver asks me about Bitcoin because I'm in his car and knows who I am, that's when I go, oops, it's a little bit high right now. But when I get the phone calls, and my phone, I have to turn it off because it's been so crazy, is that, what do I do, Steve? BigBeat, I'm long. What do I do? Buy. This morning, I tell my wife, buy Bitcoin. You told me to buy Bitcoin last week. Yeah, buy it again. Right? Why? Because the psychology has hit in Main Street now. Not just traders now. It's hitting everybody. It's hitting the neighbors. It's hitting the people that take care of us on a daily basis. When my waiter starts asking me about Bitcoin, damn, I'm concerned, right? And when I hear people say, "Well, I can't hold more than 3 hours," that's not investing. That's gambling, right? So now I'm telling people, look, relax. Take advantage of this. Go see your family at Thanksgiving and holidays, and Hanukkah and Christmas are coming up. Enjoy life and don't worry. Common sense, the greater good is going to come out. Things will get back to normal. It's okay. I said it on Schwab when people were like, "Are you sure?" I said it. I said 12 to 18% return or come down. We've already passed that. I'm like, you know what? Guess what? We did that. Okay. Now it's time to come back. Is this full capitulation? Howard just posted that. Yes, it is. Can the market go farther south? Yes. Will it? Maybe. I don't care.
But yeah, you're saying this, you know, and that was going to be my question, because, you know, like I said, it's, you know, if you're listening to you yell and scream this morning, 1 minute the economy's going to hell, but I'm still buying. And I think what you're trying to say is, you know what manipulation is, or capitulation looks like, and you're seeing that final capitulation. I mean, I will say we saw a 10% reduction in open interest on Bitcoin last night on the perps. You know,
and I apologize to a lot of people, because
I think it's time to pay the piper. You know, here's what I'm going to say. You know, you told me to wait till Thanksgiving. I'm still waiting to Thanksgiving, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Niles was very clear about that, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Is, you know, you and Dan Ives both said that. Dan Niles, excuse me.
Dan Niles.
You know, both called for Thanksgiving. I was listening, and I'm going to continue to listen, because that's the case.
But here's the thing, Howard, what I'm saying to you, I just said this, right? The speed and the derivatives have hit faster and harder than normal time frames, right? So now we might have sped it up a little bit, where Thanksgiving now is where the turnaround happens. That's what I'm saying to you. Right. Normally, and I apologize for a lot of people out there, I try to dumb it down for everybody. I don't want to say dumb it down, but I try to bring it down, because I've been institutional forever, and I've been on the big side of trading forever, that sometimes I don't get the exact wording right to understand.
That's why we're here together. I'm
Howard,
retail trader that takes what you say and tries to bring it down to the level that I understand, and therefore most of our viewers. That's
for those of you who don't know, Howard and I have been friends for 30 plus years. And Howard knows me, he knows my thought process, and understands how to he knows BigBeat speak. Let's put it that way. So let's break
what it is, because I do think that, you know, I do want to just, because, you know, again, I know how you trade, so I'm just letting everybody know, if you're more a retail trader like me, you might want to let today's flush play out a little bit. If you're scalping, it's a great time to scalp today. But if you're looking, you know, and if you've got a DCA and you're looking long term, today's a great day to start that. What it isn't is what I'm warning people, because too many of our traders are that retail buy the dip swing trader. Personally, I would wait till Monday or Tuesday, let things kind of come through this weekend, get today's option chain out of the way.
How I say this all the time: if your charts looked the exact same as it did 3 months ago, you're doing it wrong. you'll see my charts always change. I change the technical indicators out because of the time frame or the volume, or the volume is slowing down now. There's not as much volume today as there was. There's like a third of the volume from yesterday, right? Because people are scared. They don't know what to do. But when the volume starts picking up, guess what? I will put those volumes back up. Look,
Right.
if you've got it, yesterday,
I actually want to take it back a little bit, because I think you just hit something that we talk a lot at Prosper, both on the crypto side, me, and then I know Charlie on the stock side, and you just nailed it. Volume confirmation. And if you would maybe pull up one of your charts to show what you look for volume confirmation, I think it would be really helpful to our viewers today.
I will definitely,
because it is something. It's something from the crypto side, from every side. You got to look out for the fake out versus the breakout. And what I'm asking Steve is to show us, what does he look for to see that volume's coming, not just price.
And I'll do it from your perspective too, Hondo. I will bring in the Bitcoin. There we go. For those of you who were, I did a special show the other day. I did this again. This is Elliott Wave. And for right now, Elliott Wave is very, very important on your charts because we are in that breakout period, right? So the other day I showed this line, right? This was the Elliott Wave. We're about to turn around and go back up on Elliott Wave, right? Look at MACD. We are so oversold on so many levels. It's not even funny. And look at the volume. The volume over. Okay, so let's go back to where April was, right? Where that big sell-off happened, right? Yep. Guess what happened? Low volume. But when the volume changed and turned around to the upside, it preceded the move. Okay, we're seeing high volume.
And the reason being on the crypto side, I will jump in for 1 second, because that volume was the capitulation Steve's talking about.
That's right. Absolutely. Now we're looking at it from a different perspective. Now we're oversold. So we're oversold based on years of oversold now. We are way oversold.
The weekly still, Steve, if you go weekly, I know you like to zoom out. You will see that RSI could go a little, where I looked as I'm comparing, remember, I'm reversing. To me, This is our 2021 crash.
We are still, here's a weekly chart as Hondo is talking about here. We're oversold on the weeklies too.
Yeah, but not quite. Go back to 2021.
I understand.
We're right about there. That's why I'm saying I think there's just a little bit more time. There's going to be little bit more.
But look here. Look at this volume. This is not the volume that I want to see. I want to see this kind of volume.
Exactly.
Right. And we're going to see it. It's going to turn around and it's going to change. And there's your CCI that I like. There's a lot of other applications we can put on. And you can see here.
Most of the indicators are telling you this is the bot, or, if we're not there, we're very close. There are just a few more to tick off, like you said, and volume returning is the key one on Bitcoin.
Right. And you'll notice
you'll
notice I've also added Andrew's pitchfork, which for those of you who are a Fib fan, for those of you who don't know what Andrew's pitchfork is, this line's here. Fibonacci within a pitchfork. That's why I call it pitchfork. It's like a pitchfork. Where's that the line?
So is that zigzag you have, your orange?
Yeah. Yes, zigzag. And we also have on, and of course, you can see here my pitchfork here to the upside. That's the same thing I'm looking at here. I can move that for you if you need it to. I'll pull it there. Look at this line. It's almost perfect, right? That's what I'm saying. Most people can't even tell you what I'm even showing you. If your technical indicators don't even look like half of this nonsense, then close up your technical analysis and don't listen to those people because they don't understand technical analysis. There's over 8,000 technical analyses, and I can teach almost every single one of them. Teach professor-wise. Right, because I've been doing this for so long, and I'm part of CMT Association. Love them, listen to them. They know what they're talking about. If you don't have that level of understanding, then don't try to explain technical analysis to other people. Okay, let me show you something else that I'm going to show you here. I'm going to pull up a shoulders. Now that looks like a trapezoid. Because that is a trapezoid. That's a shoulder, right? That shoulder is telling me where we're boxing in. And I'm telling you right now, we are over freaking sold. So if you're not understanding half the things that I'm showing you on this chart, then you don't understand technical analysis. Okay? I'm just telling you, I'm not being mean to you. I'm just saying you need to understand technical analysis. And now, for me, what I say at the very beginning of the show, it's what? It's common sense.
Yeah. Market is open here. Market is open, Steve. Q's first move is slightly down. I'm watching VIX today very closely. If it starts to pick up, I would get my radars up and start to short this market personally. It's at 25.43. If I see that move back up towards 28, that was the sign yesterday. That was a pure giveaway that we were about to see.
And I'm watching fly here, Howard. I'm long fly as well. Look at this run here already, 17.19. I'm liking this move here, 17.20. I love this move here on fly. I think it was oversold yesterday. We took advantage of that. Howard, I know you also been playing with me and fly back and forth. 84,001 now. Tesla now at 400. So anything under 400, I again is a buy on that. I want to pull up Tesla here. There are some selling here again. Fine. Sell, folks. Go ahead if you want to. I'm going to take advantage of you. I'm not telling you people out there. I'm just going to do it, right? Yeah. Disney's up here. Royal Caribbean's up. All the things that we talked about yesterday already running up. 402 now on Tesla.
Walmart holding up nicely too, 107.76. So Walmart continuing to move to the upside, I see too. Tick is slightly down. Dow Jones up about 43 basis points, but coming off of the highs of the morning. The S&P up 36 basis points, right around that 650-460 level. And the Qs did spike up briefly, but have pulled back a little bit back to 587.78.
Do your charts look like this on so here's the Qs. Again, I'm looking at some capitulation here going on.
Not really a big move either way right now.
The volume is low. People are scared. Howard.
Decline 1,600. Yeah.
I'm not scared. I'm buying. Buy.
Steve,
Hold
I
your
do
nose
want to
and
also
buy.
point out, I don't know if you saw it, CME Fed Watch, biggest switch overnight that I've ever seen. Just
what I tell you yesterday, ignore
5%.
that goddamn thing because they don't know. That thing is now being taken over by other people. Don't worry about it. Don't just ignore the CME Fed Watch.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I am not worried about it, but it is so crazy. So crazy.
Steve, if you're out there, come on in, bro. We need you in here now. Let's just do this now. Love it. 1740 now on fly. Boom. Right? So I'm talking about, folks. Forget what you're hearing on the talk shows. I'm trying to give it to you flat out and giving you what and Steve Flanagan said logic. I'm calling it common sense. Common sense is flowing everywhere, folks.
Yeah, no, that's right. Absolutely. I agree. Advanced decline up 2,000. So not the breath we saw yesterday. So that makes me feel a little better. If you remember, I did warn of the drop yesterday when I saw all of the breath. How every single thing moved up in one fell swoop just didn't feel right to me. Now we got winners and losers. That makes more sense. Gold at 40.61, holding up pretty well. Steve, silver took it on the noggin overnight too, down about 2.35% here. Buying opportunity under 50. Is 50 a new level for silver there?
I mean, I you know what, for me, I think I'm just going to stay long silver. I'm not even going to sell it. I'm just going to keep it and go long term. After having a long chat with Peter Thomas yesterday, I totally agree with him on it. 84.4 now on Bitcoin. Ignore the nonsense. Just start buying. Now listen, we don't talk about what to do on this show. We don't do that, right? I'm not telling you to go out and physically buy. I'm not doing that. I'm telling you what I'm doing, right? I'm telling you what makes sense to me as a 35-year trader here. As somebody who's been taught by Green Berets and institutions and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, I've got that institutional knowledge in my head. We got people like Steve Flanagan here from JP Morgan. We're helping you out, right? Learn. Don't listen to people who don't know goddamn thing about the markets. Don't listen to them. Now that I'm telling you to do, right? 84.6 now on Bitcoin. That's what I'm telling you to do. Pay attention to people who actually know what's going on in the market and understand these markets. And when things like this happen, know how to get you out of those problems. That's what I'm telling people to do.
We are coming up. I'm going to warn you, 87,259, the key resistance to watch on Bitcoin today, 87,259, that area. So still got room to the upside.
I'm not scared, Howard. I'm long, I'm proud, and I'm happy. I mean, especially in...
Absolutely, sir. Well, you know I'm always long Bitcoin.
Just want to say a big shout out to, wow, Mel Kiper again, huh?
That's, yeah, Kim. Kim is the best. One of the crypto crew, one of the big Prosper folks. Kim is amazing. She is great people.
Grace
nice
Turner,
84,750 here. Nice move to the
Grace
upside
Turner
here
now
on
saying
Bitcoin.
this is actually super helpful. Love seeing smart analysis like this in my feed. Love it. Yeah, we're trying to help you folks. 85,000 now on Bitcoin. Did you get scared or did you buy? Right. So I'm saying to people, it's like, I don't like scared. I love scared money. It makes me happy. Makes me very happy today. That's what you're seeing. Right. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing it full blown in front of you live. Right. So this is what I'm trying to help people and to get through some of the nonsense that we've seen over the last few days. Guess what? Those shorts they're going to be buying today. They're going to be covering their shorts. They're going to double dip.
Mr. Bauer is going back into the gold bug. Mr. Bauer getting into a little gold here in his rooms on this move down. So he's thinking gold might be a mover to the upside here today. Just retesting VWAP. Nice little move back to towards VWAP for a move to the upside. Let's see if he's right.
Hey, Bubba. Hey, Bubba. My doggy's getting all nervous here now.
Haley gets nervous when you yell. Yeah, Moochie doesn't like it either.
He's seen every side of me. He knows when I beat the desk, he knows something big is happening. He's probably gonna get a treat here a little bit. Yeah, look, 85,000 now on Bitcoin. You know, and you know, if you got spanked and you got out because you didn't know what to do, yeah, very happy this morning.
Absolutely. Nice move to the
upside.
Nasdaq
224. Nasdaq's up 116 right now, right? So, yeah.
NVIDIA still continuing to slide here down 1.36 to 178, Steve. Moving to the downside still.
It was overbought. I mean, but I do like NVIDIA. I like what they're doing. I like the Blackwell chipset. I've said this a million times. But the AI theme is not overplayed yet. We're in the first inning. I've heard this nonsense when I heard it about the .com era. Okay, remember when you just put. You know this, Howard, when companies would talk about how much Bitcoin they had or they're going into crypto. They're going to be a miner now, and all of a sudden the stock would jump up because they're a miner now. Well, I'm not buying a company because they're a miner. I'm not buying a company because they're into AI. Every company's going to be an AI eventually, right? That's just silliness, right? But the pickaxe and the shovels are telling you where the money is flowing to. So common sense would tell you that, hey, if Microsoft is restarting 3 Mile Island, maybe they need energy because there's a lot of people going to be using AI in the future. That's common sense.
The one that's weird to me right now is the 3 sectors that are down, and 2 of them usually considered defensive in energy and utilities, and technology being the 3rd that's down. That's a little weird that those 3 are down together.
Because they're also the ones that have been the most up too, right? But I think Bitcoin here runs a little bit. I think we break this 85,000 here. We could run here a bit, and looks like
they're taking some shorts out right now. But again, $1 billion worth of longs went yesterday. It's not going to make up for that.
No, I don't think so. But I do think, there we go, 84,933, almost there. The high of the session here. Yeah, we just broke to the morning session now, and it should hit 85. Yeah. Let's see.
I told you, everyone up to the 87,259. It would be a normal recovery. Relief bounce. It would have to break that to be something that matters.
I mean, and you can't talk about NVIDIA without, obviously talking about it on CNBC. So let them talk about it on CNBC.
Tesla back trying to regain a little bit of strength here, but I see a little bit of weakness kick in here. Ticks come down a little bit, advanced decline down a little.
I'm not playing for today. I'm playing for the next few weeks. I'm long Tesla because I think that the stock at 400, under 400 is a buy.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing, folks.
We do see a little slide into the defensive plays as the rut is up about 43 basis points, actually leading the indices here. So small cap rotation a little bit here. WTI at 57.61, Steve. So do they think that the war might be coming to an end?
Common sense will tell you yes. But I don't think Putin has common sense.
I don't think anybody.
I think he has. I think he really wants war. And look, you have to respect the fact that it's what he wants. I don't like the fact that he wants it, but that we have to, as traders, and understand that we have to respect that there's a possibility of war that continues.
Yep, absolutely. WTI, like I said, down.
There's 85,000 on Bitcoin. We're breaking out now. There's Tesla breaking out now, and yeah, so let it do its thing as these people start to realize that they're on the wrong side of history right now. And guess what? The path of least resistance is to the upside. So for those people who literally have been shorting and shorting and shorting, you're about to cover your ass.
Trying to see if there's anything surprising on the movers here this morning. DraftKings up 4.41%.
We're back to gambling again. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Zelensky just said Ukraine is facing a choice of losing the major partner of Ukraine's dignity, which or dignity. Yeah, I think. Zelensky now says Ukraine will work fast and constructively with the United States. So it looks like Zelensky really does want out of this war here. I do think that's the case. If that is the case, then yeah, that's one less thing. But we still have China and we still got Taiwan and Japan. So, there's still an issue there. So, we got to be careful that we don't, there's still some issues out there to be careful about. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that side of it.
Steve, Oracle down another 3.65% here. Does that one start to interest you at $203?
No, I was asked yesterday about Oracle, and I said, look, it's old tech compared to the new tech. No, I don't think so. I still don't like Oracle. I'll tell you what I do like. You've been asking about this for a while. Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh yeah.
So
today when they're up, you didn't like them yesterday when they're down. What are you, retail trader who only like to buy things when they go up?
No, but you know what? I like the sell off yesterday. Guess what? If the rates are going to come down, then finally, and we know that they are now. I think Berkshire Hathaway does very well in the housing market here. I think it's been beaten up enough. So yeah, I do like Berkshire Hathaway now.
Okay, there you go. Wow.
Fed's starting to give you a little bit more clarity. Clarity, folks. Clarity. That's what I've been saying. Clarity.
Google up 3% here, moving nicely to the upside at 298.71. Speaking of Mr. Buffett's farewell song, so to speak.
And that's another reason why they're pretty heavy in Google. They're going to make some good money on Google here. They already know that for a fact. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Tick is still down slightly, but most of the indices are holding up or moving to the upside, quite honestly. We see the Dow Jones now up about 50 basis points, the S&P up 29, Q's up 28, and the RUT is leading the way up 48 basis points. VIX hasn't really jumped too far off the screen, so that gives us at least a little bit of breathing room here so far. And when I say that, that's at 25.67. So
I do
very
like
elevated state here.
I do like the charts here on NVIDIA getting very close to a buy signal. We're not there yet, but it could happen next couple of days, next week. So that could be, but I don't think it's a big bounce to the upside, right? If I look at the daily chart, we are getting into those numbers. There's like 4 or 5 different cells here, but we're not quite there yet. But I am looking. I am looking a little bit closer at this, though.
Steve, take a look at Constellation Energy. Tell me what you think. They're down towards the bottom of their daily linear regression.
Constellation Energy?
Yeah, CG.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think it's quite there yet. There's still some
A
selling.
little bit of downside. Still, the other one I was going to ask you to look at, one you've been talking about recently, Intel, at 33.59. Does some of these start to get interesting to you?
Again, I said no when that big bounce to the upside on Intel happened, with all that talk about, all the, we're going to go back to the basics and we're going to invest in. Just want to let everybody know that money that the United States invested in Intel is now gone. So where we were when we made the buys, and it's gone. So I'm not a big fan of it. I'll tell you what, though, this is Berkshire Hathaway here. I do like this move here. Yeah, I'm starting to see a little bit of more of a play here.
Okay. Steve, one you were a fan of that hasn't performed as well as the others, Nike, just hit the famed death cross. What do you think there?
Yeah, I mean, Nike covered its gap. I do like this. I still like Nike. I still like it. I don't think there's anything changed. It really hasn't sold off too much. Nike's not one of those that is going to be a big mover for you. So don't look at it from that perspective. Tesla now 395. Again, if you're looking at this, this is the dumb money is trying to figure it out, right? They're lost. I like lost dumb money.
Well, they have weak hands right now. That I live this world in crypto, so for me, that's why I think we see a sell-off today. Is that what happens? Is the first sign of weakness, like we're seeing across the Qs right now, how they're moving to the downside, tick now negative 200 or so. There's fear in the streets, and you love that. I'm with you. I agree, and that's what leads me to this capitulation might finally be here. Is that we are seeing some of this blood in the street type attitude. Bitcoin tried to hit that 85, like you said, back at 84,420, and still moving to the downside. So again, I just saw the VIX break through 26. Very similar. History doesn't repeat itself, but it smells the same. And this looks a lot like yesterday.
Oh, I'm not scared. PMI now coming out now. U.S. Flash PMI now 51.9 versus 52 estimate. So we're still above the 50, but right on the handle there.
That's by a nice move to the upside here. 2.72 to the upside. Did notice that we have a decent amount of retail reporting pretty well. We had the gap overnight, had some pretty good earnings in there. Let's take a look here. I'll share with you what we've got going on the screens. And what I'm personally looking for so far. Like Steve said, NVIDIA still getting hit here down to about 178.02. It's kind of interesting. I'm sort of looking to see if it fills this gap back down to 170 or so that it jumped up from on the 9th of September as a positive entry point there. I am looking for some things to play with later today. Like I said, though, I do see some weakness maybe here that's hitting across the ticker. We'll see how that turns over the next few minutes. Again, very early in the trading day, algo is sort of winning it here. I do think that there will be some short covering. Steve expects a little more than I do there. I'm not quite as positive on that, although tick nicely just jumped up to the positive side, 270. So we do see some buyers stepping in as the algos step away. So that's a good sign there. Bitcoin holding above VWAP here is a good sign. If it can hold above that 84 area, would be a solid start to our day. WTI down at 57.45. So they are saying maybe they trust what we're seeing overseas, and we get some relief in the Ukraine. That would be fantastic to see. Notice that most of the banks were up earlier today, now really falling off. So, wow, financials falling off here. We had seen JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, and Goldman Sachs all up here, and something just spooked the banking sector. I'm not quite sure. Let me get my tweet deck up here so I can see what it is that's hitting us. I guess it's that PMI data, but that actually, this drop started right at about 9:36, so before the data came out. Just the only thing I really see is the PMI data being covered by everybody. I don't really see much else there. I do see Mr. Flanagan has joined us, so let me get him in here and let's see what the internal optimist has to say today. Mr. Flanagan, that glass is not only half full, is it overflowing the sides?
Oh, yeah. I think Steve's kind of hammered home a lot of points today. And I couldn't agree more. We talked on my last show. I had said on Friday, capitulation probably done by Tuesday. Okay, yesterday was one of those days where I'm a trader of 43 plus years in a major institution at the front line. And those type of days you just don't see very often, not once in a career. So understand the magnitude of yesterday's turnaround. This is not something that happens. So when that does, the next day and the dust begins to settle, look for a flat line now, because you're either out of the trades or you're in a trade and you just don't know what to do, as evidenced by all the Fed chatter.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked BigBeat earlier. Well, is this the full capitulation we're seeing? Do you feel like this is, I can't, the old, I don't know what point is, but I can't describe it, but I can tell you when I see it. Is this, I can't give you levels of capitulation, but I can tell you when I fear it, when I feel it. And to me, this felt like it really was yesterday. If it isn't the end of the capitulation, it really it hit yesterday.
Is it capitulation? I would say the machinery backed up the dump trucks and unloaded once yesterday's rally faded. So that typically, when the dump trucks come in and unload, is a capitulation. But what we need to really understand is what the heck is behind the capitulation. What was the matter yesterday? Why didn't the NVIDIA earnings, which I had said, if they give good forward guidance, I said, this is it.
Yeah.
I don't understand what was behind. And so doing a lot of research, I come up with the yen carry trade. That was
see that. I was going to bring that up to you. That's rearing. It's. I already hit him with that BigBeat.
Yeah,
I already.
I think you know what? I know exactly what it is.
Yeah, but that Japan carry trade. If Steve would, if Mr. Flanagan could break that down a little bit, because he is the.
He did break it down for you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
it was quantum.
4 months ago, and 8 months. I believe it was August of 2024. When you brought that to us,
Howard called it perfectly. Quantum convergence. I talked about this morning, right? If you want to get, like I was saying, common sense, and I look at it from the perspective of when the water turns upside down in August, the dog days of summer, when the water comes up, it's nasty. This is what's come up. All the nastiness has scared people, but it's going to settle back down. We're going to go right back up, and the people that literally are got their heads swiveled on correctly, paying attention and listening to Steve Flanagan and saying, okay, you know what? This is one of my favorite things in this world. This too shall pass.
Absolutely.
And if you're not ridiculously out of listening to all these nonsense traders out there and paying attention, this is a great time to buy. Look at Tesla, 401 again, right? Why? Because they're not listening. They're paying attention to what's really going on. EVs are still happening. Electric. We just talked about this, Steve. And 3 Mile Island is restarted because they need energy. You've talked about the energy trade forever, right? This is exactly what I mean.
And
Yeah,
Europe
so,
is paving a course for more green technology. So
yes.
nothing is changing. In quantum convergence, what does the essence of it mean? Out of chaos comes unity. Well, are we not as chaotic as ever right now? I put a piece on my Twitter handle yesterday talking about the Fed and referencing a Ludwig Institute, which is a nonpartisan, but they are more of a kumbaya type of organization. Let's get together. But what they specifically talked about, take this payroll number, throw it out the window. Why? Because if you get a job and work 1 hour, you are considered an employed person.
Yeah.
But let's break it down. What about those people that are unemployed? Let's count that. Second, let's look at the people that are now, my son, for example. The company suddenly cutting all his hours. Why? Because they play with that 29-hour rule.
So they don't have to give health care.
You don't have to give health care and benefits. So they're kind of at the waterline now because they're only working part-time, but they want to work full-time. Yeah. And what about the people that are working full-time and only making, let's draw a number, $25,000 before taxes, and they're at the poverty level? They're employed. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, they include all this. So they say 4.4% unemployment. But interesting, this Ludwig Institute refreshes 2 weeks after the payrolls report. Their last report had unemployment at 24.3%. This is the disconnect that you guys have been hammering home for months in your K-shaped recovery. Yeah. This is the disconnect why everybody says, look at the Fox News poll. They actually hammered Trump and said, it's your fault, the economy. I don't feel good. You keep saying it's good. I don't feel it. And people don't feel it because the number of unemployed really is 24%.
Yeah, and I just brought this number up. I think a lot of people don't really understand unemployment numbers. For those of you who don't know, I use Fred a lot. That's the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. They have lots of great data there as well. But there are different types of numbers on the unemployment numbers, and the one that I mostly look at is U6. When you look at the unemployment numbers that the Fed's looking at and everybody's looking at, 9 times out of 10 they're looking at other numbers that are just the unemployed. There are people who drop off the rolls because they stop looking for jobs, and that's the number. That's U6. That's total unemployed, marginally unemployed. The one that Steve Flanagan was just talking about. That number is 8% right now.
Yep.
Not 4.1%, 8%. Right? Yep. That's what the difference is. That's why people aren't feeling great about life. And we're talking about, you've got to go back to 2006 and 7. We know what happened then. You got to go back to 2001, 2002. I mean, obviously you've got the .com bust and you've got COVID, that's an anomaly, but 8% is not a good number.
Not a good number. And Steve, this is the point of why the administration is hammering the Fed. And people say, oh, the Fed's losing independence. The Fed is focusing on a 1960s lost bygone era of data. They're not looking at the new economy. And this is your quantum convergence. The new economy, the people that are running governments in Europe, Mario Draghi, another man out of the business world who is hammering Europe, saying, a year ago, I told you the changes to make. And then this year they say, we reviewed the changes. You've made none of them. Now, today, even Lagarde is saying, the ECB has done everything we can to give price stability because they're roughly around the 2% inflation rate. And she says, now it's time for your governments to get your butts in gear. So the Fed is so lost look at those comments yesterday, and again, they're coming out today.
4 of the members said, I don't know. How can you be a member of the board of governors of the federal? This is the bank. This is the head of the banks, and say I don't know. Okay, I'm glad they're honest about it. Let's start there. Okay, you're honest, but you don't need to be a federal board. If you're just doing it for the perks and then sit in your white ivory tower, resign. And that's me telling them to resign, right? Because if you don't know, you're supposed to be Harvard educated, Yale graduates. As you say, they're academic. They don't understand the business world.
That's right. And they're lost on bygone era models. So, let's bring it simple. Let's keep it simple analysis. I'm in the front of the boat, the Titanic, and I'm going, hey, Captain, there's an iceberg dead ahead. And the captain goes, what should I do? That is the Fed. And the people like us, people in the marketplace, the markets themselves are turning to the Fed going, hey, what are you guys doing? What are you watching? And they're like, I don't know. Which way do I go, George? It's horrible to have to make it so simplistic, but we all kind of understand. There is a problem going on. The yen is beginning to influence it. Typically, when a carry trade is forced to unwind, I borrow yen at next to 0%. I sell the yen and I buy dollars. And then I invest in the US. And my marketplace goes up. NVIDIA goes up 15, 20%. Now, why does it matter? The yen suddenly weakened sharply. Last week's close was 154.52. We're at 156.74. Well, that's actually a good thing on a carry trade, because as the yen weakens, if I sell my dollars to buy back yen, I'm going to have a lot of yen to repay my loan. So I'm actually in the money. The problem is when moves happen rapidly. Suddenly the BOJ coming out saying, hey, we may have to intervene. Head of the Bank of Ministry of Finance that controls intervention said this is an abnormal and volatile move in the currency markets. So you're getting all these things on all these different fronts hitting at the exact same time. And the market, money moves first, says, I'm worried. I see yellow flags popping up all over the ball field. Get me out. Get me out. When they actually get out, the wave of selling is relentless in a computer-driven market.
It's exactly what I said this morning. The problems are being exacerbated by zero DTEs. It's being exacerbated by it's still psychology, Steve. But the problem now is that we have vehicles that 100x and 300x that just scare people. They don't know what to do, so they just 100x everything, and it's like gambling. So they're getting screwed hard, and I hate that.
And just to expand on exactly what you said, think of the ETFs, which we all invest in, and the ETS takes a basket of trades, right? It has, if you're in a high-tech ETF, it's got NVIDIA, IBM, it's got them all. But when I say sell, and I say maybe I'm a very large fund and I have a very large exposure, and I say sell 10,000 shares or 5,000 shares, the machine gun spits out all these orders into the marketplace. And anybody from the old days that studies price and watches a ticker, that's what that is at the bottom of the screens that go across, and suddenly sees sell, 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 and they go, whoa, 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 I better sell. And this is how it perpetuates. Back to your question, Howard, this is kind of, yes, a capitulation. When the machinery stops, and I would think that today it will stop, let's watch how it opens here. I would say let's get through 1 hour of trading, and if we're not seeing any, solid moves, then we're close to a capitulation, and then the curveballs start to come in. Watch Europe and Ukraine, Zelensky meeting today on an urgent meeting, because Ukraine is crying, no mas, I've had enough. And Now that the U.S. Russia is being leaked, the frozen $100 billion assets of Russia are going right into the Ukraine to rebuild. So there's a chance where this guy sees he can come out, unscathed in the political world. And that would be another huge positive in the global environment. So this is a chaos. I believe it's capitulation.
I agree.
And I thought Tuesday was going to be the day. Okay, hey,
look, Steve. I slammed the table today. I banged the table. I haven't done that in months, and you know what I do when I bang the table. That's it.
Yep.
I'm in, or out, depending on where I'm at. I'm in. I like this market. I like this capitulation. It's happening right in front of us. I love this. Look, I don't like picking tops and bottoms. That's one thing that'll get you in trouble. But this is capitulation. This is chaos, as you're saying, and I'm going to take advantage of it. So look, the market could go down farther. All right, whatever. But I'm okay with this because I'm going longer term.
One more ingredient to our capitulation. You're an institutional trader. You're sitting close to the end of November, where the holiday markets we always referred to comes in around Thanksgiving. And once you enter December, you're not taking a lot of risk and putting the bonus pool in jeopardy.
Right.
So the capitulation from the institutional side, any longs all cut out and said, oh, wow, I'll take my lumps, but I'm still up on the year. So I'm still okay. Because when it comes down to it, you must understand that institutional trading is bonus related. So what does that mean for December? People are going to start loading up in December, because what you're going to see is a gradual creep that's going to creep and suddenly become a self-fulfilling in December. And then you'll start off January. What is going to be the institutional rhetoric? Oh, this is going new highs now.
I think the adage that I'm looking at is crawling the wall of worry.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the adage that I'm going to use for the rest of the year, but I'm long going into the end of the year. I think you're right, Steve. The bonus institutional money is going to go flying back into it because the window dressing is going to have to start at some point.
That's right. And everybody needs to make back this hole that just happened.
So, see, if you don't mind, can you explain window dressing to those people who don't understand the institutional side of things?
Well, window dressing is, you're going to take positions if the market begins to, gravitate back up. If, in fact, we've hit a capitulation and the market, then suddenly my long positions get valued day to day. I have to mark to market each and every day. And, I'm going to grab things that are so oversold right now, because as the price naturally goes back up, the mark to market is going to make me look like I'm a genius in trading.
That's right. We call it window. I need to run. But Steve, we did it again. I mean, I think we're helping people understand this market in a very chaotic market. And I think I'm very proud of you for doing your homework and giving me the answer that I've been looking for. It's quantum convergence. For those of you who don't know, Steve Flanagan has now coined that term for this market. And I think it's what we're going to call it. We're going to start. It's quantum convergence. This is what we're looking at right now. So I appreciate that, Steve. We'll see you right back here on Monday. I need to run as well, but guys,
everybody, for Quasar Markets, have a great week. I will be off on Monday, so the two Steves will be here to bring you home. So everybody, have a fantastic weekend. As you heard, BigBeat bang the table. Mr. Flanagan, the glass is always half full, and I think we're pretty close if we're not there myself. So I guess we're three bulls in a room here today. Everybody, have a fantastic day.